I'd like to call upon the man who made this all possible, the man who's been working tirelessly for the past 2 days. Please welcome the founder president of Utopia Model United Nations, Shaunak Kulkarni.
Thank you so much for that. Respected dignitaries, members of the executive board, parents, faculty advisors, and dear delegates. So just a few hours ago, some of you must have seen me very nervously pacing around the corridors of the first floor in which we're in. The reason was that I had no idea what I was going to say right now. Absolutely clueless. So I went to one of my best friends who is a delegate at Utopia Model UN and just asked him, what do you think I should say at the closing ceremony? So he told me that, why don't you speak about your life in the past 18 years and how you are today? Was a thought, went back, sat down, but then I realized something really, really important. I'm nothing great. I'm just another 18-year-old boy, like any one of you over here. I had the same teenage problems. I just got my reevaluated board result today morning. And I'm as nervous and excited about the future as you are. It all just started as one idea. One idea back in April 2015 when I'd come back home from yet another brilliant MUN in Pune. I was in the comfort of my own home and I just thought to myself, that why not one more MUN in Pune this June? Instead of having MUNs which focus solely on education, many of them probably boring us quite a lot, why not imbibe fun into it? To say maybe, why not call it a fun month? It was just that much of an idea and it all started. My point here being that, at this age, at 18 years old, none of us are entitled enough to think of ourselves as too great. We can't have hashtags right in front of our names. We can't have demanding reservations anywhere we go. But what all of us do have, and I'm pretty sure each and every one of you do have this, are ideas. They come anywhere, they come anytime. What you have to do is just find it and then work on it. Because you have no idea where that idea can go. From where to where, what starts as a simple idea can really become huge. Well, the example's right in front of you. What started out as a small idea is now a Model UN conference with 360 delegates, 20 members of the executive board, 15 members of the organization, and around 40 volunteers. Utopia Model UN 2016. But Utopia Model UN 2016 would not be possible without the help of so many people, and so this is going to take a while because there is seriously too long a list. Firstly, and extremely importantly, our venue partners, the MIT and the Miles Max. It has been really a pleasure working with all of you, right from Jayant Patil sir, to Bharat sir, to More sir, to Dr. Rahul Karan, and everyone part of the MIT team. You have been nothing but cooperative, and a wholehearted thank you from all of us. Secondly, to make the gala evening special, we had a lot of performers. Sorry? The gala evening, yes. The performers who are delegate, could you please stand up? The performers who are delegates. Can we have a huge round of applause for them? And volunteers as well. Sahil? Huge round of applause for these performers. You're extremely good. Next, probably the best runners in Pune at this time, the executive board. Please give it up for them as well. I'm sure they did a brilliant job chairing you, and I hope you made this conference extremely memorable. I'd also like to thank the technology partners like Inbot. They helped us with all our technology requirements right from the website. Even though their owner, Mr. Krishna Narang, has not been able to make it today, can we please have a huge round of applause for them as well. I'd also like to thank Berry Farms and Ninad Berry who helped us arrange the roses for today. And a few specific names, could you please stand up when I take your name? Mr. Varun Desai. Thank you so much for helping us chair our showcase committee yesterday. You did a great job of it, and I'm sure everyone loved the showcase committee. So Rohit Deshmukh, where are you, Rohit? Oh, unfortunately, he's gone. Rohit Deshmukh has been my neighbor since the past 10 years, and 2 nights before Utopia Model, when Amay and I were working on a few delegate kits, at 2 a.m. in the morning, we called him up without asking questions. He came straight, helped us for 2 hours till 4 a.m. and then went back. So yes, a huge thank you to him as well. Now to the volunteers. This year we had really amazing volunteers who helped us unquestionably and at all times were very, very helpful. But there are some specific volunteers which I, from the bottom of my heart, would like to thank enormously. I cannot tell you how obliged I am. Firstly and most importantly, Amay. Amay, please stand up once again. I'm ready to claim this on stage that without you, Utopia MUN would not have been able to happen as it happened this year. It was brilliant, whatever you did for us. Anamay, you too. Again, extremely helpful. Always there, ready to help whenever you call him right on stage. Always there for us. Ashish, I realize that this is just the prizes, but still, again, Ashish, in spite of some circumstances Ashish had to go through, he stayed at Utopia MUN. The circumstances we're talking about are not just any small circumstances, they were extremely serious, but the amount of dedication you have shown has taught me personally so much, Ashish. Thanks a lot for that. I'd also really like to thank the ancillary staff of the Maharashtra Institute of Technology campus, who are always there to help us, as well as Mr. Shankar Narayan, who's not been here today, but he was our caterer for the event, and he was really, really helpful with the food and did everything right on time. So just before I move on to the OC, there are a few more people I'd like to thank. My family. My mother's right here, my father hasn't been able to make it for the conference, and Shaunak Kulkarni, who by the way was my sister. She chaired the Business Summit. Elder sister. I know it's a bit confusing to those of you who've seen us together. She's 4 years elder to me, but yes, they have been nothing but supportive. They have always helped me wherever I go, whatever I try to do, they're always there for me. So thanks so much for that. Most importantly, the organizing committee of Utopia Model United Nations, they have been my little pillars, not just of mine, but for the whole event. I cannot describe how much I'd like to thank them, because at each point of time, when I was stressed, when I was sad, when I was happy, they've always been there with me. They're just brilliant, and that's all I have to say for them. But I'd really like to thank each one of them individually, so when I call up your name, can you please just come up on stage? Firstly, this girl is, very simply put, a genius at her work. That's really the first word I use whenever I introduce her to anyone. She has been working with me for the past 2 years, first with Utopia Pune and now with Utopia MUN. She's the most efficient worker I've come across. All she asks me is, give me the deadline. Whenever I give her any instructions, give me the deadline, she's there 20 minutes before the deadline. Our Director of Graphic Design, Karan Bhaskar. Could you please come up on stage? Secondly, this boy has probably worked the most out of us on the past 2 days. He in fact made a joke today. I'd probably not share that joke with you, but it was really hilarious for all of us in the organizing committee room. You got that right, but let's wait for it. So he first came, I first met him because he just joined my school, my previous school, and he was a junior to me. He instantly struck me with his extreme sense of morals and his willingness to help at literally all times. He has been extremely helpful to act as a link between us and the MIT campus and the MIT faculty. Our Director of Venue Operations, Swastit Badwe. Next we come to probably the calmest member of our OC, but I'd say calm only during work. Otherwise, I've heard that she's extremely energetic and extremely fun to be around with. She is too an extremely efficient worker. Whenever I gave her a task, it would be done. I didn't even have to double check because I knew it would be solved and it would be ready for us. Our Director of Information Systems, Sanjana Muthukrishnan. next member of the OC, in fact, threw a bit of a tantrum when we declared his post. Do we know who we're talking about, OC? He wanted, the idea, one of the names which came up for ideas of his post was Director of Entertainment. And I can vouch that this is actually the most apt description for him because he was by far and definitely the most entertaining member of our organization. And in fact, many of you delegates also know that when we created the WhatsApp groups, he was added, he livened the whole group. And yes, he made sure that the conference was going well. He anchored each and every ceremony flawlessly. He was there at the auditorium 1 hour before each event would start. And he did his perfect job as the director of events. Mr. Ali Raja. Here's another junior of mine who was an ex-junior of mine at the Orchid School. When you first see her, you might think that, oh, this person is quite simple, you can easily mess around with her. But if you come to talk to her, you will realize that that is absolutely not the case. And I think my volunteers can vouch for that, that she was probably the most ferocious yet efficient director of human resources available. She's an extremely strong person as an individual herself. And she has been not just a member of the organizing committee, but a really, really close friend of mine. Tanvi Nargolkar, the Director of Human Resources. The power-packed energy bomb, as she calls herself. She is probably as enthusiastic as I was ever about Utopia Model United Nations. She was probably one of the first members of our organizing committee to seal her post right in. Her too I've been working with for the past 2 years, first in Utopia Pune, then in Utopia Model United Nations. She has been a perfect director of finances, who we could ever have asked for. She tallied each and every payment. She made sure each and every account was checked at all times. Arushi Thakore, our Director of Finances. Might I also at this point of time extend our thanks to the Thakore family for hosting us on Friday night. They're in fact sitting right here, so thank you so much for having us. Next up, we have someone who I barely knew before Utopia Model United Nations. I just saw her application one day in our forms, and I was straight away impressed by her application itself. And I knew that this person is one day going to be a high-ranked official with us. And I'm really looking forward to working with her in the events to come. She has probably spent more than 1,000 rupees in simply making phone calls. Every day, every week leading up to Utopia Model United Nations, I used to send her a few names and say, call these delegates up, have they registered, have they paid? And by that night, I would get the information for definitely. She also organized a social event, but had a major role in it. She got her performers extremely efficient as well. In fact, every member of the organizing committee was as efficient as I could have asked. But still, Vedika Rathore, our Director of PR and the one thing I learned about this next member of the organizing committee at this point of time is not to give her a walkie-talkie in the next conference. Every time some serious discussion would be going on, and either she would start singing songs on the walkie-talkie, or she would start shouting on the walkie-talkie, in which case our ears would literally burst. But still, it's been a real pleasure working with her. She has been extremely reliable. Our Director of Communications, Arita Khandeparkar. Same here as well, I'd like to extend our thanks to the Khandeparkar family for hosting us last night. This member of the organizing committee has been like a younger brother to me. For the past 10 years, he has been one of my best friends. He's one of the most friendliest people you can ever met, and one of the most loving, and literally no evilness, no spite in his heart. I've never seen that for the past 10 years that I've known him. As a director of logistics, he was the one who was definitely more enthusiastic about me about the conference. He started asking me about the applications for Utopia MUN 2016 right after Utopia MUN 2015 got over. And ever since, logistically, he has made sure every item has been available few days before the conference. He has made sure that every item has reached each committee properly on time. Shaunak Kulkarni, our Director of Logistics. The next person impressed me immediately by her work ethic, and just like Vedika, I knew she's going straight up at the top of the ladder of a hierarchy, because I don't know why I'm saying this again and again, each member of Utopia MUN is so, but whenever she was assigned a task, it was immediately done right over there. She too is one of the most friendliest people you've ever met. I've never ever seen her fight with anyone in my life till now. Our Vice President, Ashya Maharaj. And now we come to probably the best manner in Pune. I'll tell you why. He has been a part of 24 Model United Nations, out of which 17 he served as a delegate. Out of those 17, he has won 15 Best Delegate Awards and 2 high commendations. But those 2 high commendations were at Harvard Model United Nations and at Rotary International Model United Nations, which we all know are probably the toughest months, not only in Pune, but probably the whole of India. Sorry? Oh yes, that's where we met again. Anyways, he was the first person who knew about Utopia Model United Nations right after I had the idea. I immediately messaged him because, as I told you, he's my favorite manner in Pune's MUN circuit. And don't worry, so are all of you, but Nobbies is just a bit above. So anyways, he handled the entire academic aspect of this conference single-handedly, occasionally taking help, but still never really leading it, because that's how much he knows about the world and the United Nations. Our very own Secretary General, Arnav Dasgupta. Yes, for those of you who don't know, he's also commonly referred to as Nobby. Not commonly, he's always referred to as Nobby. So right there, ladies and gentlemen, once more a huge round of applause for the Organizing Committee of Utopia Model United Nations 2016. Before I end, there are also a few members of the Executive Board whom I'd especially like to thank. Firstly, Yash Sarbe. Can you please stand at your place, Yash? His application was the first in our documents for the Organizing Committee of Utopia MUN 2016. The reason he didn't continue with us was that when we announced the agenda of the HRC, it's an agenda he's just so passionate about, which he wanted to chair it. So Yash, thank you for being with us for this whole duration of 6 months or so when we planned this whole conference. A pretty much similar case to Yash was Leah Ramaswamy. She too was originally a part of our organizing committee, but after we declared the Game of Thrones committee, she really wanted to chair that. She too has been with us throughout this whole journey of Utopia MUN 2016. Thank you so much, Leah. Next up, Shaunak Kulkarni. Shaunak? When our dear Director of Entertainment, I should now call him, had gone to the base camp at Everest, we did not have anyone at our camp payment spot to accept payments, and Shaunak extremely willingly stepped us to help us out. So Shaunak, thank you so much for that. Next up, Pratyush Pol. The morning of Utopia MUN 2016, day 1, was quite chaotic for all of us, but Pratyush, immediately sensing this, stepped up, helped us out, and he did the job which frankly we should have been doing, so thank you so much, Pratyush. Apart from that, the heads of our international press, Anmol and Tanay, you have been a part of the organizing committee as much as any of us have been, because your role was not just limited to the IP, but it was with Utopia MUN as a whole. Tanay, where are you? Could you please? Yes, there you are. Thank you so much, Tanay, for that as well. So with that, I come to the end of a long thank you note. But once more, thank all of you delegates as well, because without delegates, a conference is not a conference. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next year as well. Thank you.